sunshine. My dad, while you playing, I just hope it makes some sense. Spotlight from the heart, sunshine. My dad, while you playing, I can shine.
Seems so good. This is Project Lasagna, where
Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day curd nerds. Welcome back. This is Ask the Cheeseman, episode 272. That's a lot out there. It's great to see so many people in the chat before the show. I love putting it on about 15 minutes before and popping on auto chat, and everybody can see everybody's responses. It's lovely. Welcome one and all. Big thank you to all of the financial members, both on YouTube memberships and Patreon. A special mention to Vanessa Black. Thank you, Vanessa, for your mature membership, and thanks to all the other YouTube members who are listed on the screen. And a big shout out goes to all of the patrons. Thank you one and all for persisting and supporting the channel. It's absolutely fantastic to see so much support. I really feel touched. Okay, some big news this week. Of course, thank you very much to the new Curd Nerd Academy members, Raymond Farinas and Juanita Gero. Thank you to both of you for signing up for the beginner's course. Now, speaking of courses, the blue cheese course, I've filmed, about 10 videos. Goodness me, I've been really flat out this week for the blue cheese course, and it will be released sometime this week. I have 4 more bits of content that I have to make. I've got to write 2 recipes for blue cheeses that aren't in my book. So the recipe cards will be in there. And also, I've had to move my ebook offerings off of Teespring. Apparently there's some issue with Teespring or Spring, whatever, the people I was hosting the ebooks with, because apparently people would pay for it and they wouldn't get the email link. So I've had multiple emails to me personally for people who were disappointed with that. So to fix that up and make things all right, I'm now hosting the books on my courses page. The links are down in the description below anyway. I've changed all the videos to the new link. So that's exciting. And also, not only are we just about finished production on the blue cheese course, this week we also start on the white cheese or white mold cheese course. We've already started that. Ben and I started editing. Or he started editing, I've started filming for it. So that's in progress as well. After we finish that, we'll do washed rind cheeses, and then we'll do hard Italian cheeses. So we will have, 5 courses. Whew, pretty good. So I'm very excited about that. Also, another thing I'm excited about is an affiliate program for the courses themselves. So for an affiliate program, for those who don't know, is where you can, it's not recommend, you can promote the courses yourself, whether that by an email link or there's a special link you get once you apply. And you can actually earn money by promoting my courses. So that's really special. So that's good fun. And I will share that on the community tab of the channel soon. So watch out for that. Other news, I'm putting the finishing touches on the Jack in the Box taste test today, so that'll be fun. Red Leicester is in production. I have all the footage for that, so that video will be up soon. Which is the first time I've made Red Leicester. I've made Leicester, but it wasn't as good. I'll tell you what, the colour is striking. Stilton is maturing nicely in the cheese cave. I've revamped the Stilton recipe that I've got. Video I've got on the channel is 11 years old, and it is of the poorest quality. I looked at it and thought, that's not fit for anything. I don't know how people are actually making Stilton besides the recipe that I put in my first book. But anyway, so I've remade the video. It's very nice. And of course, Tassie Devil will be filmed next week, the taste test for that. So it's all very exciting. So I'm excited. I hope you are. Okay, shout out. I think that's everything. Have I covered everything on my little list? Yes, I have. So shout out to everybody who's in the chat. Of course, we've got, I think Shauna was first. G'day, Shauna. Persnickety, Michael, how are you? We've also got, who was the next person after that? Clark. G'day, Clark. First time. In Scotland. Lovely to see. Who else? Herb. G'day, Herb. And we've got Heidi. Heidi's changed her name from Annoying Fan to Heidi Snow. Welcome, Heidi. Goodness me, that's excellent. Actually, lots of people do that. They come up with, they have some weird and wonderful names in the chat, and then eventually, because I can't remember their names, they change their names to their real name. Yeah, it's good. Erlene, g'day. I'll get to your question soon. Jennifer may have already answered it for you, though. Who else we got there? We got Ange. G'day, Ange. Lovely to see you. Cool Cat, as always. Hopefully I haven't missed anybody. Gooseberry Hollow. Your lasagna sounds excellent. I'll go and check that video out. David. G'day, David. Cool Cat. Who else we got? Molly Brown. We've got Valerie. G'day, Valerie. Lovely to see you. Michael and Jenny in Adelaide. Hello. How are both of you? Anthony. G'day, Anthony. And is that it? No, Travis and Jim. G'day, Jim. Lovely to see you, mate. That's about it, I think. Boris. G'day, Boris. So far, 26 in the chat watching. Welcome to everybody. Okay, Heidi says she's still annoying. Okay, that's fine. Cool Cat says, binge watching every Ask the Cheeseman live stream would take 11.3 whole days. Yes, it would. It's better than a Netflix binge marathon. So, I actually, the other day, I was looking back at the very first episode of Ask the Cheeseman, the very first live one I did. I think I used Google Hangouts or something strange. And the dodgiest webcam I ever did see, and no lighting. So it was the darkest, most dismal video I've ever seen. But yeah, it was very cool. All right, thanks, Cool Cat, for that little strange factoid. Nice. Okay, now let's get to a question. There was one from... where is it? Goodness me. Erlene, I think. If I can find it. Way back in the chat. Where are you? I can't search in the chat. I don't know why. There it is. Erlene says, can you overpress a cheddar? I'm always having to open my sealed cheese and dry it for a few more days then reseal. There is also always moisture in the bag, even if I feel like the outside is dry. Okay, so it sounds like, let me think. So one thing to check when you're making your cheese is do the hand press test. So when you're at the finishing of stirring the curds, grab a handful of curds, press them in your hand, let go, and if they stay in a ball, that's fantastic. And if you can press your thumb into it and they just fall apart naturally, then they're actually ready to go to the next step, which is cheddaring for a cheddar, obviously. And it sounds like the cheddaring phase that you're using isn't drying the curds out enough, so there's too much moisture in the curds. You know, real cheddars, if you get one from Cheddar Gourd, are quite, well, I won't say they're dry, but they're not full of moisture. So the cheddaring process itself, maybe go 15 to 20 minutes longer on that, depending on the milk you're using and all these different factors that can fall into it. So there's 2 tips to try and get a bit more moisture out of the curds. And pressing, maybe you're not pressing hard enough as well. Can you overpress a cheddar? I don't know how you're doing that. If you're overpressing a cheddar, it certainly wouldn't have that sort of moisture that's leaching out into the bag. So there's my thoughts on that. Thank you, Erlene. Let's just get rid of that. Next question was from... Oh, and yeah, just from me. Don't forget to, when you do ask a question, put 3 Qs before it so I can pick it out. of the chat. Next question is from Jennifer, who says, have you ever made American cheese with gelatin and cream of tartare instead of sodium citrate? No, I haven't. However, have a look at Larry's video, that because we did the collab with the American cheese. He put all sorts of things in his. Not only cream, I can't remember what else he put in there, but yeah, all sorts of amazing things to make his American cheese. And I'm a bit of a purist, so I tried to minimise the amount of ingredients that I could to get the final result. So I found that sodium citrate was all I needed when I made it, and water, of course. And that's what I used, Jennifer. So no, I haven't tried anything else. If you've done that, yeah, I know you're pretty active on your channel, so pop it on there. I'll share it in the community tab when it comes up. Molly says, so I've been reading the Great British Cheese Book by Patrick Rance, and apparently Stilton was originally a maggot cheese. Oh, like Casu Marzu. Very nice. I'm glad the British got smart and got rid of the maggots. Yeah, indeed. Me too. I wouldn't be able to find them. A little bit cold. There's no flies at the moment. Summer, that's a different story, but yeah, we're nearly in winter. Like when I got up this morning, it was like 3 degrees Celsius. So anyway, let's have a look. Next question is from David says, purist and American cheese shouldn't be used in the same sentence. Yeah, look, there's American cheese and then there's American-made cheese, or cheese from America, or not North America, from the United States. Some of the cheese creations coming, so the two should never be confused. So American cheese, as in the melty, like Kraft singles sort of stuff, is, yeah, I don't know why that's got that name, but some of the cheeses coming out of the artisan cheesemakers in the United States are amazing. You know, you only have to look at Humboldt Fog, for instance, an amazing goat's cheese with that, ash line in it. As soon as they make it, it just goes out of stock. So, I'm so glad that Patricia, I don't know if she's in the chat, but Patricia Gauchi over in Halifax, Nova Scotia, made a cow's milk version called Fundy Fog. And there's that video on the channel, and it tasted absolutely fantastic. But there are some fantastic cheeses out of Wisconsin as well, the cheese capital of the US. So, even brick cheese, which is an original invention, is just a fantastic cheese. I've made that as well. So, yeah. Anyway, moving right along. Anthony says, American cheese is basically Colby with sodium citrate, and Colby is basically a mild orange farmhouse cheddar. Yeah, kind of. But you've got to remember that Colby, Anthony, is a washed curd cheese, so it is very mild, but it's not really a farmhouse cheese per se. I think the washing of the washing of the curds lowers the overall acidity, of course. Hang on, I got an eyelash going on here. It's not working for me. There we are. But yeah, you are 100% right, mate. Yeah, David says, and yes, I'm referring to the Kraft single style. Yes, of course. All right. Gabrielle says, don't have a question, just want to tell you I think you're really awesome. Thank you very much, Gabrielle. I really appreciate it. That warms the cockles of my heart. Don't forget that if you want to see the Curd Nerd light go off, as always, fully automated. If you do a super chat, you get the light to go off. Just putting it out there. I haven't seen the light go off for a while. And get your name up on the screen, up here. Whew. It's on every stream. It's lovely. Question from Boris says, remember you said the creator of Stirmate was looking into making an attachment for cheese making. Did you ever hear any updates on that? Unfortunately, I didn't, Boris. He never came back to me. he did said cut something. I think it was the wires he wanted me to cut. You know, the loopy wire thing. He wanted me to cut it somehow, and I said, "Nah, I'm not going to wreck it." But a lot of people still use it, and look, I have used it since that initial not test review. So I've used it on some long cheeses that you have to stir for a long time. All I do is just every 10 to 15 minutes, instead of stirring, I just pull the thing out and unclump it if it is clumped. If it's not clumped, then that's great. It goes back in the pot and keeps stirring. But yeah, I think on a really slow speed and a little bit after the curds have shrunk, it seems to work fine. And somebody did say to me the other day, why don't you just turn it upside down, as in the device, the red bit. You can actually turn that upside down and it turns the other way. So it actually, I tried it and yep, you can. So yeah, it's very cool. Anthony says the Stirmate is fantastic for making yogurt. Yeah, in big batches, definitely it would be. In smaller batches, probably not so much. Something like, where is it? Do I have it? Something like this is probably best. There's a product for you. Put it in front of, there you go. So yogurt thermos, so it's just a glass jar and there's a stainless steel double shelled thermos. Works perfectly. You don't need to heat anything up, or you just put the milk in, put the yogurt culture in, and Bob's your uncle. Give it a good shake. Put it in the thermos. Oh, heat the milk up, of course. Put it in the thermos, and next morning you got yogurt. It's amazing. But yeah, great product. We've got them on Little Green Workshops for sure. Still got some there. And one thing I didn't show you. Remember, I haven't unboxed it yet. I got this a couple of days ago from Amazon. Inkbird, which is a precision cooker. Remember how I said in the video that I did for the Anova version of the precision cooker that I've got? I initially purchased that like 2 years ago. It's got this really high-pitched whine. Poor old Hamish, our male West Highland Terrier, goes spare to the point of shivering. You know, shaking because he can't handle the noise. It's got this really high-pitched whine the whole time that it's being used. Now, I haven't tested this one, but I've been told by many curd nerds that it doesn't make any sound at all except maybe a stirring, you know, the little impeller stirs. But yeah, the high-pitched whine apparently isn't there. So I would check that out. So I will do I'll do a review video on the Inkbird one. Inkbird? Inkbird, is it what's good? Yeah, Inkbird. I think it's the 308. So that's interesting as well. Okay. Olaf, g'day, welcome. I'm new here and have a question. I accidentally overheated my milk making chowder to 39 degrees. Finished making it anyway. Why will that change? What will change in the cheese? So 39 degrees is not much of a crime. So mesophilic culture will be able to handle it. It shouldn't die off. 38's usually the cutoff before it starts becoming inactive. 39, not so bad. I don't think it's going to affect your chowder too much, Olaf. So I think it'll be good. I don't think it's going to change the cheese very much at all. Maybe be a little bit drier than a chowder should, but yeah. Anyway, but thanks for asking the question, Olaf. David says, I've been making some very basic cheeses with my grandson, such as mozzarella and cottage cheese. Suggest any others that we can try. Yeah, indeed, David. The first one that comes to mind is halloumi. So it's a Cypriot frying cheese. There are a couple of recipes on the channel for halloumi. Go and check them out. It is an amazing cheese. So you don't eat it. So let me just explain. For those who never have had halloumi before, you're missing out on one of life's little treats. So once you've made the halloumi, and thank you, Paul, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. $20 US. Goodness me. Thank you so much. And I'll get to your question in a second, Paul. I'll just finish this one. from David. So halloumi is a frying cheese. So once you've made it and salted it and let it dry a little bit, you fry it in olive oil. So you cut pieces off and fry it in olive oil. And it doesn't melt. And the inside goes soft. And you get this lovely caramelly, crusty surface of the cheese. It is just beautiful. It's fantastic when eaten with watermelon. It's fantastic when it's eaten as breakfast. Say you make bacon and eggs and put a piece of halloumi on the side. Oh, tell you what, it goes off. So try that, David. Absolutely fantastic. Paul says, "Hi, Gavin. This is probably an easy essay, probably an easy one. But I'm getting ready to use the Lauder molds. I don't need a cheesecloth for pressing. That's correct. But do I need to drain the curds with cheesecloth before filling the mold? Thanks for all you do." I've seen the factory that they use those sorts of molds in, and they just actually pour all the curds into the molds with a machine. They just big funnel thing comes down, fills up each mold, and then the thing comes down and presses it. It's quite automatic. But yes, I did. When I did it, I used the cheesecloth just to drain the curds first, then dumped them into the mold. And with those Lauder molds, you don't need to press very long. Paul, I think if I haven't sent you any, there's some instructions that I got from Lauder after that I made those initial videos, and from Curd Nerds that have sent them to me. If you don't have those instructions for making, well, it's more for chowder and those sorts of cheeses, there are some instructions for pressing on how long. I think it's 3 hours tops or something, because the molds are quite unique, as you know, and they aren't cheap, that's for sure. But you don't press them as long as I did in that Howder video, or they'll never come out of the mold, apparently. A lot of people have experienced that. But thank you so much for the $20 US. I really appreciate it. Anthony says, I would love to hear your opinion on that, because my Breville Dual is about to give out. I hear the motor stop and restarting every now and then. Yeah, no problems, Anthony. I'll do that in the next cheese making video. I'll give the Inkbird a go. And Shauna's got a comment on that. I love my Inkbird sous vide. I think I've forgotten how to make cheese without it. Yeah, I had exactly the same problem, Shauna, when I used when I did the Jack in the Box video, or the Cots in the Box for you. To get the temperature precise on the 2 pots on the stove, well, I suppose now I've got 2 precision cookers, I can do that without having to use the pots on the stove now. So, but yeah, I think poor old Hamish will be a little bit upset without it. Alrighty, Titus says, I've seen an elderly Armenian make his yogurt in a pot instead of using commercial yogurt as a starter. Titus, yeah, indeed. So what I've done in the past as well is use the previous day or week's yogurt, because the cultures are still live, of course. So take 2 tablespoons of yogurt, put it in your milk, give it a good shake, put it back in the thermos, and bingo boingo, the next day those cultures have bred and multiplied, and you've got yourself some nice yogurt, usually about the same consistency. I tend to, when I make yogurt, put a couple of tablespoons of powdered milk, full cream powdered milk, into the normal milk that you get, and it actually helps it out and makes it a lot thicker as well. So I find that's a good thing to do. David says, sounds just up his alley. We'll give it a go. Indeed, halloumi is really good, really good. Persnickety says he's been using the Anova sous vide circulators for a year and love the temperature control. Look, don't get me wrong, the Anova one, Michael, is good. It works, it controls the temperature perfectly. I've never had any issues with it other than that really high-pitched sound that my dog doesn't like. So that's the reason I'm swapping it. It's not because the product's faulty, it's just that sound drives me crazy too. As soon as I take it out of the box, the dog starts to go silly. Anyway, poor old Hamish, especially when you're making cheese for hours and hours on end, you're standing there either stirring with your hand or the stir mate or what have you. and you're doing that for hours, and you've got it in the water bath for hours, the poor old dog, he's either outside or he's cowering somewhere in a room with Kim while I'm making the cheese. So it's not good. Happy dog, happy life. It's like happy wife. No, what is it? Happy wife, happy life. Something like that. Don't tell Kim. Paul says, I have the instructions from Louder. Oh, okay. No problems at all. Thanks, Paul. Persnickety says, especially with 5 gram pots. 5 gram? 5 gallon. Oh, sorry. You guys crazy with your old fangled measurements. Double boiler method. I need a step stool to see what's going on. Yeah, I suppose you would. Oh, goodness me. Anthony, unhappy wife, unhappy life with the dog alone. Oh, well. Very cool. So, if you've got questions, throw them in. Now, remember it's nearly time for the gallery anyway. So, at 30 minutes past the hour, we will be having the gallery. And we've got some amazing photos today, including about 12 from Bernard, the 14-year-old cheese prodigy who's been very busy. So I don't know if Bernard's in the chat. I don't think he is, because I think he goes to church on Sunday mornings, but that's okay. So he watches the replay. That's fine. Shout out. Well, David says, in the States, if mama ain't happy, then nobody ain't happy. Yeah. Okay. But I do agree, actually. Persnickety says, those allow me to run 2 5-gallon pots on the counter for my heavies as in big cheeses. Okay. Herb says, I can't say that sound, but was wondering about him the other day, the cheese project. Indeed. And he actually, in the email he sent me, he's got a comment about the, sorry, hang on, I got this. It's drive me crazy. Live. Oh, goodness. That's better. Right. Sorry, on Bernard, he actually mentioned something about that little short I did of his cheese. So, yeah, that was cool. For those who don't know, this is a mug, but it's a right-handed mug, to see the picture. You can see the picture yourself, I suppose, this way. Pretty boring. I should have put something on the back. Anyway, let's get into the gallery. Looks like you've run out of questions. Let's do that. Let me just find it first. Where the heck did I put it? There we are. Right, so the gallery is brought to you by you. Hang on, I'll just go back to my head. So it's you, the Curd Nerds, who have sent in the photos, of course, so it makes it a very special little feature for me. I love getting everybody's emails with all the pictures of cheeses I've made, whether they're from my recipes or not, I don't care. But the cheese is cheese. No word of a lie, there's some amazing ones today. All right, so very first one is from Adrian. And Adrian is from Paraguay in South America. I know we've got quite a few viewers in South America. It's a big continent. Unfortunately, I can't reach the Spanish or the Portuguese because I don't speak those languages. But hopefully some of them watch it and translate the text. I think YouTube's doing a pretty good job of translating now of the captions. Anyway, let's move right along. Adrian says, I just want to say thank you for your hard work with all of the cheese tutorials. I just love it and have already made many cheeses. I'll attach some pictures to a couple that I've made. So the first one is Emmentaler style. Look at those eyes. That is absolutely perfect. And you can see by the dry bit around the outside, hopefully you can see my pointer, that it's been naturally aged, and that is some excellent eye development. I think there's another picture. Let's have a look. There it is, a nice close-up. Look at those eyes. Absolutely spectacular. And I reckon it's probably a pretty good nutty taste as well. So, well done, Adrian. That's absolutely fantastic. There's another photo that he sent in. This one is chili queso fresco, one of my favourites. Nice, quick, fresh cheese with whatever flavourings you can put in it. You can eat it the same day you make it. So, Yeah, lovely little cheese. Well done. I love it. Next one is some camemberts that he's made. He says the camembert was a bit firm inside, but the taste was amazing for me, and the same for the Emmentaler and the chili queso fresco. So, they look, I think there's a picture of those cut open. Yeah, look a little bit firm. Probably could go another, the white mould coating is spectacular. Probably could go another week, maybe, for the insides to soften up, to go through proteolysis and start to go a little bit gooey. But looks pretty good. And to finish off, Adrian says, always enjoy watching you because of the time difference, never watching you live. Take care. Best regards, Adrian. Thank you, Adrian. Appreciate it. And some fantastic photos there, mate. Really do appreciate it. Okay, so the next photo, or 1,000, is from Bernard. Thank you, Bernard. He says, Dear Mr. Weber, very nice young man. All right, I hope you're doing well and looking forward to tomorrow's rather lengthy gallery. Only because you've added all these photos in, Bernard. Oh, goodness. I think the first 3 photos tend to speak for themselves. I'm amazed how stunning the blossom mix looks, and the smells of the lavender and the honey when gets put together truly makes this one stunning and unique cheese. So there's his blossom mix. Let's have a look at... Yeah, so he's got his honey and he's got his cheese. And there we go. He's whacked them on there. Hopefully he's vacuum packed it. There's no more further photos. But yeah, I think once you vacuum pack the cheese, when you slip it into the bag, a lot of the flowers come off, but pack it down. And the lavender actually adds a little bit of special flavour because it has a little bit of a, not a strange flavour, but it does have a great flavour and adds it into the cheese as you eat it. So yeah, it's lovely. I ate them mostly with the flowers on. I really liked it. But yeah, fantastic cheese, Bernard. Well done. And he's got some... what have we got there? We've got some runny camembert. What's he said here? Says, the other 3 photos are of what I call 3 shapes camembert, which is really just a way of making the fact that I didn't have all the right hoops sounds good or even deliberate. Yep. Jokes aside, I'm very happy with the texture and we'll be definitely making it again. Let's have a look at the other one. So we've got a round one, we've got a rectangle, and we've got a, looks like a Valencia style pyramid cut off one. And that looks nice. A little bit chalky in the middle, but yeah, gooey. Nice. I like gooey. Gooey's good. All right, so that's not all from Bernard. The next one, let's have a look. It says... This is a second email, so this is part 2. The first picture shows a smorgasbord that I made, that my mother and I put together for my father's birthday with 3 of my cheeses. The smoky paprika kefili, which is that one, really stands out because of its rich colour. Next to that is a petite Neufchâtel. I'll get it right in a minute. There it is there. There's the petite Neufchâtel. Above that is a cranberry queso fresco, which is that one just there. And the 4th cheese is a cheddar, but this was shop bought. Oh, it's got white wax on it. There we go, that one there. None of my 3 wheels of cheddar have finished affinage yet. That is a lovely looking cheese platter. I love the olives. Olives really set it off. Help a lot salty. It's good. Nice on the bits. Next one. Right, here we go. The next 2 are close-up photos of my smoky paprika kefili. It is one of my favourite homemade cheeses yet. It's actually one of my favourites too, Bernard, because it was very serendipitous. I actually started out, for those who don't know the story, I actually started out to make a yarg. I was trying to copy the yarg recipe, which is a Cornish cheese that has stinging nettle leaves on the outside and a little bit of white mould for show, I think. Don't think it does much. But yeah, and I had stinging nettles in my garden. I picked them, I blanched them, and I blanched them too long, and they wilted up to little things, and I couldn't put them on the outside of the cheese. Anyway, I thought, the kefili was already in the press, right? I thought, well, what the heck can I do to it? And I said, well, why don't I put a rub on it on the outside? And I went to the spice rack and had a look, and I had some smoky paprika, and I had some nice extra virgin olive oil. So, bingo boingo, combined the two, made up a process, and the rest is history. A lovely little cheese to the cheese channel. So, very nice. Thank you very much. Inspiration strikes when you least expect it, that's for sure. Anyway, here's another picture of Bernard's amazing looking smoky paprika kafili. So well done, Bernard. I don't want to take the limelight away from you. It's very good, mate. And the next 3 photos are perfected trio cheese. Says the last one I made saw some bad late blowing, and the lines between the layers were a bit uneven and wobbly looking. This time I've improved it by pasteurising the milk using the low temperature long hold method to stop late blowing, and to fix the uneven lines between the layers, I pressed each layer individually for 20 minutes before putting them together, so they already had an initial hard surface, meaning that when I took it out of the press, the lines where the layers joined were straight and well defined. I tell you what, that is, see, practice. All practice makes perfect, and you've thought about what happened last time. It looks great, Bernard. That is spectacular. That's up there with artisan cheese making to the next level. So, well done, mate. I am very impressed with your trio cheese. Oh, it came in at, is that kilos on the outside? Kilos on the inside. So it's, what, 1.9 kilos or just over 4 pounds. That is pretty spectacular looking cheese. Well done, mate. Well done, Bernard. Really proud of you. And he says, also, thank you for very kindly putting together the short video about me. I was very surprised to see my name on your channel when I was finding the next cheese recipe to use. That's all for this week. Take care. God bless, Bernard. Thank you, Bernard. You are a national treasure. Well done, mate. Alrighty. So thank you so much for sending those in. So the next picture, I was going to say video, the next picture is from Mr. Persnickety himself, Michael. Hello, Michael. Michael says, I followed your triple pepper jack recipe. So here are the before and after rub pictures from last Friday. It wept pretty hard and looked like a murder scene. I haven't seen a cheese that small, 2 pounds or 1 kilo, 900 grams, for a while. So here it is in his ripening box. That is a lot of chili in there. That's probably more than I put in there, but it's good looking cheese nonetheless. Let's get in close, shall we? Ooh, yeah, that's pretty spicy. Nice. And let's have a look at the rub on the outside. Oh, goodness me, that's a lot of chipotle pepper rub or whatever you're using there. But that is going to be one fiery little cheese there, Michael. Oh, I can even see the fire coming out of my mouth from that thumbnail that I put on the taste test video. Oh, goodness me. Oh, the next day, that Johnny Cash song comes to mind. Anyway, so this is also Michael's, or Persnickety. It says, the marbled farmhouse cheddar came out of the press this morning, and I think this is my heaviest wheel at 10 pounds, which is what, 5 kilos? Yeah, roughly. Though I hand milled, the curd mass was sturdy enough to be cut, so I think I'll do that next time. Curd nerdly Persnickety. That is a great looking cheese. You got another view? Oh, there it is. That is spectacular. So a great looking cheese. I love the marbling. It looks like a planet, even though what's it called? A tube? No, not a sphere. What's the word I'm looking? A cylinder. Goodness me, cylindrical. I should go back to maths again. Do more maths. Yeah, so your cylinder of cheese or wheel of cheese looks like a planet that's a cylinder. Continents, seas, oceans, that sort of stuff. Very nice. Thank you, Michael, for sending those in. Last but not least, of course, we have Shauna. Goodness me, look at that cheese. Let's get in there. Very nice. Says, good morning, Gavin and Kim. It's a cool, drizzly day in northern Tasmania. Perfect for making cheese. So just a couple of photos for the gallery. The first is my Shropshire Blue. Not much veining, but the colour and flavour are outstanding. I have to cut this a little early. I have cut this a little early, but was getting concerned that the moulds were getting too funky. Yeah, they do on that surface, don't they? I wrapped it in foil and just keep aging it as it's used. Yeah, that'll work, no problems at all. Well, the marbling with I found the marbling with mine was, very similar, because it's the chunks of curd that before they're pressed, or in your case, you may have been able to not have to press it, but the chunks of curd get blue mold on them as you're going through the process of making the cheese. So it's the chunks that have the blue mold on them, not so much veining as you see in traditional blue cheeses. So yeah, it's a stunning colour, Shauna. That is an amazing use of annatto. But yeah, well done you. There's another photo. This one next is Esrom. Hope I said that right. It's from 200 Easy Homemade Cheeses book. This is delightful, and the texture is flexible and the taste is creamy. Aged 3 months, 6 weeks natural rind and 6 weeks vac packed. Good, interesting combination. This is another that I'll be making again. It looks lovely. I can see a little bit of natural rind development, then popped into vac pack. But yeah, that cheese looks lovely. The cut looks a little bit crumbly, I'm not sure. Did you say? No, texture is flexible and the taste is creamy. Yeah, nice. 3 months. It's a pretty good cheese too. So yeah, lovely. Well done, Shauna. Thank you so much for sending those photos in. Was that the last one? Yeah, it is. It is the last one. Thank you so much to all the curd nerds who sent in photos today for the gallery. Really appreciate it. Now, how do you send in photos? That's the next question you're probably asking. Well, let me show you. We go to the channel page. Oh, that's me. We're live. You go to the About tab on the channel page, just here. Go down to Details for Business Inquiries. View email address. So that's the email address there to send through all of your photos. Please do so, even if you've got so even if you've got photos of cheeses that aren't so successful or you're having trouble with, happy to troubleshoot during the stream. I've got no issues with that whatsoever. So send them in. I'm really excited to see photos every week in my inbox. It makes my heart flutter with excitement. It really does. And I'm not just saying that. They're just great. I love it. Okay. All right. So what's the time? We got 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and curd nerds, to get stuck into it. Have we got any further questions? A lot of comments about the amazing cheeses. And welcome to Stanley. It's a latecomer. Titus says it looks like an exoplanet. Indeed. In cylindrical form. Hopefully there's no cylindrical exoplanets out there. Hopefully they're spheroid. But yeah. Very cool. Very cool indeed. If mine's an exoplanet, that's Mars. But Mars is not an exoplanet. It's in our solar system. But yeah, look, it works. Absolutely. Heidi says, please don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah, that would be lovely. If you haven't thumbs up the video, it all helps the algorithm. More people will see the stream and all that sort of goodness. But yeah, it is really good. Persnickety saying on his really heavy cheese, the 10-pounder, says, I can't wait to cut into it in a few months. So for 10 pounds of cheese, so 5 kilos, you would have had to use 50 litres of milk? Yeah, it would be close. Yeah. So what's that in gallons? Alexa, convert 50 litres to gallons.
50 litres is about 13.2 gallons.
13.2 gallons. Goodness me, that's a lot of milk. Oh, Persnickety says 9. Must have some really good milk then to get that sort of yield. So, well done. I wish I could speak Welsh. But anyway, I can't pronounce it. I'm so sorry. Welsh is just not my language. I just cracked my first cheddar of 15 months. 15 months, that's amazing. And it is. I tell you what, the cheese would just be fantastic. So, well done. Davo says, just starting the Howder recipe on the channel. Any last minute tips or changes to the recipe? Not that I know of. So, both the Howder recipes I used, they were the same. So, depends on the mould you're using, of course. If you're using a louder mould, like I did in the ladder video, press it a lot less. I think it's about 3 hours tops. But press it hard. And that'll form fine. But the first Howder video, I think I used my 165mm mould, and that was fine. Or 6.5 inches mould. The white one you see in all the videos. And that, it works. So I had no problems with the Howder. You'll get a slight eye development, just a little bit. Don't forget, if you're using raw milk, the Howder recipe tends to late blow if you're using raw milk. So it's probably best to home pasteurize it using low temperature long hold pasteurization, and that get rid of any of the bacteria that cause butyric acid, which causes late blowing, which is only cosmetic. You can still eat the cheese. But that's my tip. Don't use raw milk to make Howder. Always pasteurize at low temperature long hold to get the best out of any of the enzymes that are left over and flavour. Titus says he couldn't wait 15 months to eat the cheese. Yeah, look, sometimes when you're making lots of cheese, Titus, you tend to leave some in the back of the fridge, in the cheese fridge, that you can't see. I've done that before many times, so just kind of forget about them. And it happens. So if 15 months is not what was the longest one I had? Double Gloucester, 7 years in the cheese fridge. I had a piece, and it was really amazing. So yeah, well done. David says aged cheese not likely as grandson is around. Obviously he's a prolific cheese eater, but yeah, very cool. Persnickety says about the yield of his cheese. Yeah, I was surprised. It's usually 1 pound yield per gallon, so for 3.7 litres. Yeah, that's about right. So should weigh a little bit less after drying. Yeah, might have a bit of moisture in it, but yeah, I think it'll be fantastic. Herb says he's got I have a 3-year-old hunk of smoked farmhouse cheddar waiting in the cheese cave. Well done, Herb. It is hard to keep those cheeses longer. Sometimes because when I'm really busy making cheese and forgetting to eat the cheese that I make, I tend to forget about some of the ones. And obviously you've seen taste tests in the past where I've kind of like gone a month over what I said I was going to go and stuff like that. Life gets in the way. It happens. But yeah, very cool. Paul says, if anybody's interested in louder moulds, I was able to get a 1.2 kilo and a 3 kilo flat mould. They are extras from a custom run. They may not be always have them, but it's worth asking. Indeed. Hopefully you got them cheaper if they were extras. But a flat mould, nice. So like a square mould, not a round one, if that makes sense. So that's interesting. Herb says with a 4-gallon batch, he has an average of 4 to 5 pounds final weight. So 4 gallons, 16 litres. Yeah, it's about right. Yeah. Thanks, Herb. So the yield is usually about, as you said, 1 pound per gallon. So what's that? So for me, that'd be 4 litres per kilogram, roughly, or 5 litres per kilogram of final cheese. Shauna says, I'm about to open up a 12-month-old marble cheddar. I can't wait to taste that one. I think it'll be absolutely fantastic, Shauna. David says, does the season you make the cheese make a difference in the quality of the milk? Indeed it does. So with any lactating animals, they have a lactation cycle, of course, from when the baby animal has first been born. It has the most protein in it at the start, and then as it goes through the lactic cycle, the protein lessens, and the fat, same thing. The milk gets thinner, if that makes sense. So the earlier in the season that you make the cheese of the animal's lactation cycle, the more yield you're going to get out of the cheese. There you go. Persnickety says, hard for me to age the long ones. They sell too quickly, which is good, but also bad. Yeah, indeed. But you got to remember, though, Persnickety, the inverse is also true, that the longer you age the cheese, the higher the price that you can ask for the cheese. Think about that one. Anyway, Titus says, only in France, David. Okay, maybe in La Bella Italia. What was that talking about? Don't know. Not sure. Anyway, 10 minutes to go. And Shauna says, also, what the cows eat make a big difference. Silage can cause problems. Yes, indeed. So if the cows eat fresh grass, usually no issues. You get some amazing flavours. Not so much in pasteurised milk, more in raw milk. You get some amazing flavour profiles from cows or goats or sheep that have been pasture-fed. When they in colder climates, when they overwinter and they eat silage, that is one of the main causes of late blowing. And there's a bacteria, which the name slips my mind, but it causes butyric acid, which also creates hydrogen as it gets converted into butyric acid and creates fissures in your cheese as it ages. Especially with the low acidity ones like Gouda and Edam, and a lot of those washed curd Dutch cheeses. And to avoid that, to fix that, you use a thing called Lysolac, or you can even use protective cultures like Sacco's LPRA or Choose It Danisco's Wholeback LC is another one. As long as it's got Lactobacillus lactis rhamnosus and Lactobacillus lactis plantarum in the mix, it's pretty good to go and helps stop extra mold growth, helps stop some late blowing, not as much as, say, Lysolac does, which is an egg white derivative. Okay, Herb says, the raw milk's eye source in Houston differs throughout the year, but it's always magnificent. Indeed, I bet it is. Liz says, what does everybody do with their cheeses? I know some sell them. I'm having difficulty keeping up and have heaps overdue in the cheese cave. I can't stop myself making more. Liz, I'm the same, mate. I have lots of fish. Yeah, trade. That's a good reply. Olaf says, trade for fish or meat. Nice one. Yeah, so barter. The barter system's alive and well in our house. When I give away a piece of cheese, I always get some sort of reciprocation back. Whether it be at that stage or after they've tasted it is always amazing. Jeff and Heidi, who came round and had their engagement here, we've become, friends. So last time Jeff visited, I gave him one of my triple creams. And he gave me 2 bottles of homemade Moscato, which is a wine, and absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, I love a good trade. Yeah, so very cool. So, yeah, you can do lots of stuff. Shauna says, I just keep aging them, and they all get used eventually. I suppose when you've got an input that's more than what the output is, then maybe that may be difficult. But, yeah, look, I just keep aging it as well. It just gets better. It's like me, as I get older, I get better. Well, that's with practice maybe too. So anyway. Alrighty. Yeah, I think, what's the time? Yeah, 5 minutes to go. I think we'll finish for the today. I've got a video to film and put up by tonight, so that'll be fun. And I've got the blue cheese course to finish off, so I'll get started on those. I'm going to have some breakfast. I think I've got a little bit of halloumi left over in the fridge, so that would be fantastic. But and yeah, some bacon and eggs, that'll be lovely with a bit of halloumi. Nice. Anyway, everybody have a fantastic week. Jennifer says trade. She says give it away for hay donations to feed the cows, or continue aging it forever. Give it to the pigs as a treat. Parties. I hope that's not parties for the pigs, Jennifer, but yeah. I saw some of your you actually had a party, a cheese party. That was good. What else? That's it. We're finished today. Thank you for watching, everybody. Watch out for the announcement for the blue cheese course. I'll have to film a little announcement for YouTube as well, for those who wanting to learn how to make blue cheese. This course is a banger. I've added so much extra in. There are obviously there's going to be 6 recipes to go through as well, but there's all this beforehand, how to get your blue cheese perfect. So anyway, I haven't done the normal stuff, so if you want to go and see the course I got there already, the beginner's course, go to courses.littlegreenworkshops.com.au. Go and check that out. If you want to buy any supplies, oh, that didn't work. What happened there? Sorry, bad. That's bad of me. This is going to go longer than I expected. Any cheese making supplies, we ship all over the world. Go to littlegreenworkshops.com.au. You can pick up your cheese making supplies there. And if you want to buy any merch, like this pretty cool looking cup with me sitting on the cheesy chair of wisdom, you can go to merch.cheeseman.tv. Don't forget, I've moved my books off of the merch store and put it onto my courses page. Anyway, the links are for the 2 books are down in the description below, so they're all up to date. Thanks for watching, Curd Nerds, and I'll see you next week live. Don't forget to join. Don't forget to send photos. Love them. All right, see you later. Bye-bye.